I'm sitting here at my desk today thinking about something I see happen over and over again in the transportation industry. Most operators believe the biggest problem in their business is not having enough leads. They'll say things like, if I could just get more wedding inquiries, more corporate events, more conference work, my business would grow. But after building Magic Carpet Shuttle and talking with operators all over the country, I've realized something that surprises a lot of people. The real problem isn't usually the leads. It's what happens after the lead comes in. My name is Jamara, and I built Magic Carpet Shuttle from the ground up into a 7-figure transportation company in under 3 years. Along the way, we've handled everything from weddings to large conferences and corporate events. One of the biggest lessons we learned came from looking closely at our sales data. Now, one thing we always did right from the beginning was call a new lead as quickly as possible. We understood that transportation is a service business and people want to talk to somebody who understands their event. So when a new inquiry came in, we would reach out, ask questions to understand the event, and help guide them through the transportation planning. But even with that approach, we noticed something interesting was happening. There were still a lot of people who didn't book. Not because they weren't interested, not because they didn't like our company, but because life got busy on their end. Think about who our clients are. Wedding planners juggling dozens of vendors, corporate event organizers managing huge conferences, couples planning the biggest day of their life. Transportation is important, but it's usually one of many decisions that they're making. So what would happen is this. They would inquire, we would call them, we would send a quote, and then silence. Not because they didn't want to book, but because their attention moved to the next fire they needed to put out. And that's when we had a big realization inside Magic Carpet. We weren't losing business because of our service not being good enough. We were losing business because our follow-up process was not strong enough. And this is something I see across the entire transportation industry. Most operators do a good job of responding to the first inquiry. But after that, follow-up becomes inconsistent. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes someone forgets, sometimes it feels awkward to reach out again. And what ends up happening is a potential client who was actually very interested simply fell through the cracks. So we asked ourselves a simple question at Magic Carpet. How do we follow up consistently with every lead without creating a ton of extra work? Because as we know, running a transportation company is already very busy. You're managing drivers, vehicles, schedules, events, logistics, you name it. The last thing you want is another manual task on your plate. The answer for us was building systems and automations around the follow-up. Instead of just relying on memory or manual reminders, we created automatic sequences to keep the conversation going with clients in a natural way. After the quote goes out, the system follows up with helpful reminders. Not aggressive sales messages, just simple, thoughtful touch points that keep the conversation alive. Sometimes it's a quick check-in. Sometimes it's a reminder about availability. Sometimes it's just letting them know we're here to help if they have questions about transportation and the plan that we created for them. What's amazing is how often clients respond to those follow-ups with something like, "Thank you for reminding me. We've been meaning to book this." That's when it really clicked for us. We weren't chasing people. We were simply making it easier for them to complete the decision they already wanted to make. And the best part is that these systems didn't create more work for our team. They actually reduced it, if I'm being honest. Because instead of wondering which leads needed attention, the system handled a lot of that communication automatically. This allowed our team to focus on the conversations that really mattered, helping our clients plan successful events. And when we looked at the numbers after implementing these follow-up systems, the impact was huge. Our conversion rate improved significantly. We started capturing business that previously would have disappeared. The same leads suddenly produced much more revenue. No additional marketing spend, no extra advertising, just a better system for managing the opportunities we already had. That realization is actually what led me to start Sales Driven. Because after speaking with so many transportation company owners, I realized something. Most companies don't have a lead problem, they have a sales process problem. Leads come in, quotes get sent, and then the process kind of stops. But when you install the right systems for follow-up and communication, something powerful happens. Your business becomes more predictable, more organized, and far more profitable because you're finally capturing the value of the leads you worked so hard to generate in the first place. If you run a transportation company, I want you to think about something. Look at the number of inquiries your company gets every month. Now ask yourself honestly, how many of those leads are you still following up with 2 weeks later? How many are you following up with a month later? How many simply disappeared because no one had a structure in place to follow up? When we fixed this at Magic Carpet Shuttle, it completely changed how we looked at growth. Instead of constantly chasing more leads, we focused on maximizing the leads we already had. And that approach right there created a much stronger and scalable business. So if you're a transportation company owner and you're curious about how your current sales process stacks up, that's exactly what we look at inside of Sales Driven. After a quick 15-minute sales audit where we review your lead flow, follow-up process, and where opportunities might be slipping through the cracks. Sometimes small adjustments to that process can unlock a surprising amount of revenue. Because let's be honest, the truth is most transportation companies are sitting on far more opportunity than they realize. They just need the right systems to capture it. And once you put those systems in place, growth happens a lot easier.